Where's my sip? Oh, glorious Java. Wake me from my slumber. Oh. Right. Alright, Myro. You marvelous monkey. Oh, stretching good. Ugh. Let's get this show on the road. Let's go. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Oh, my spine knows it's a timer. Oh, for the goo. Painting goo goo goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo. It's painting goo. It's fucking goo. Where we go? Nobody knew. Oh, this coffee's so good. Painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Take it away, Myro. You marvelous monkey. Painting goo 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 goo. Goo 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 goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Oh, my chi is beginning to flow. Painting goo goo goo. It's painting fucking goo. Oh shit. Painting goo. I'm tired. It's painting fucking goo, bitch. Oh, fuck. Painting. Painting goo. Painting goo. Oh, fuck. My back. Oh, my back, it needs to crack. Oh. Cracking goo. Oh. Oh. Painting goo? Oh. Is that an ambulance? Somebody dead? Somebody dying? Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo goo goo. It's painting feckin' goo. It's feckin' goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Goo goo goo. Goo 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 goo. Some good coffee. Oh, fuck. Oh, I'm doing a lot of stretching this time. Good boy, Myro. Everybody give it up for our resident petrified primate, Myro the monkey. Of course, if you have any honor, you will pay the monkey. Place the tip in the bowl. Oh, fuck. Pay him, because I do not. Greetings, and welcome to another glorious episode of PEINTEINGU with me, your host, and Mike, the squeaky Mike. Squeaky Mike is he's our main man, but he's a noisy cunt. Right, please excuse me whilst I descend into proper PEINTEINGU posture. Ah, the stool is stiff this cold Monday. It is wet, dreary. The crowds are dark. miserable. And the stoor is very, very slow. Are we there yet? We're there! We are in proper Paintingu posture, and you can now view my gloriously floppy top-notu. My anti-oni top-notu. Fends off all resident demons. The Telegram is on fire. What is happening? What are people talking about? What are the Japanites? What's this? What am I looking at? Maposi Amarak. What the fuck? Anmacrack? My neck, my back, Maposi Anmacrack. Oh, that's fucking brilliant. Oh, that's hilarious. This whole finding shit in Facebook names things is fucking hilarious. What's the other thing? Is that what it's like at work for you right now, Stabaroo? Jesus. It was like that here, like, what, 2-3 weeks ago now or something? Before we went to Portugal. It was like blizzard level fucking snow everywhere on the roads and parks and shit, like. Now it is just dreary, damp, dark, and demonstrably demented. To answer your question, Stabaroo-sama, the stoor is not roost today. I have answered your question. Desmondo, Stabaroo, Marju, how are you? Blizzard today. It looks like it, but it looks like a slow bird up to a blizzard. Blizzard is hilarious. Oh no, blizzard! Oh man, like, just speaking Japu just gets me fucking giggling, like. Speaking of Japu gets me giggling like Riher Scooger. Grifu-sama is one of the best ones in speaking Japu. I can read one of Grifu-sama's texts in the chat, and it's like even the way he laughs. Hara 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 hara. Oh, I fucking love it. What have I created? I've created this like little niche. Like there's like 20 of us. It's just like based on the most hilarious thing ever. Like, what? Like, it wasn't even my idea. So funny. You look like a homeless samurai. That's where that all began. That's where all this began. Is like a passing comment, like somebody taking the piss out of me. Like, you're like a homeless samurai. It's like, I like the hilarious thing is like to somebody, like to me, it was like it was like a compliment, you know. Samurai are awesome, you know. Got a code and shit, very honorable. They're a bit too, like, the whole riding the line of like death that close all the time. Like at the drop of a hat, you're ready to just disembowel yourself on the spot. You know, like depending on honor and shit. Like, although I suppose it's like when you really look into it, it probably wasn't like they probably like everything else exaggerate that a bit. Like it probably wasn't as intense as people make it out to be. Like it was probably intense, but it was more like implied. You know, like I'd say the amount of people that like did the kind of Jewy thing of like finding a way, like a loophole out of having to commit seppuku, like, because like you're only human. Like even even if you're raised in a culture like that, like you're born and raised in a culture like that, there'd still be the people that are like, fuck that, I'm not killing myself. Oh, that's hilarious. What's worse than Blizzard? A blizzard of lizards summoned by a wizard. A blizzard of lizards summoned by a wizard. Blizzard. Oh, that'd be so funny if you had a fucking they should do a skit of Harry Potter where like there's two like wizards doing a duel, and like one of them, maybe both of them, would be. I don't know if it would be like a bit too much, but like at least one of them like had a speech impediment. Like Wingardium Leviosa, Victor Champois. Like Expelliarmus. Like, it's like, does he got a speech impediment or is he just foreign? Oh fuck! Why didn't they like? Man, I'd love to see Chinese Harry Potter. Oh god, oh, that'd be fucking brilliant. Oh fuck. Oh, can you tell I'm not really awake yet? I fucking woke up at 8 o'clock, like 8 a.m. after I go to bed at like, I think it was like 4 or something, maybe later. Just looked at my phone and was like, fuck that. Like, oh god. After an extended Christmas holiday and then fucking off to Portugal for a week, like, my whole body, like, I think it's hitting me the last like 3 or 4 days since coming back from Portugal and trying to get back into a routine. It's hitting me how far off my routine I am. Like, sleep pattern, diet, like the amount of alcohol I had in Portugal. Like, I haven't drank that much Coca-Cola and rum in God knows how long. And like, there is that voice in the back of my head that's saying, "Look at you, you're fucking 30 now, and you're feeling like fuck." Sometimes I feel like I'm fucking 50 or 60. Like, be standing there like just after getting out of the bed, and I'm like, "Oh," and then I'll stretch, and it's like pop, 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 pop. Once I get going, I'm alright though. I am just very like, I'm fucking. I sound like a rusty slinky in the morning, like. Like fucking. Like, it's hilarious. I was laughing earlier on to myself, like literally like giggling like a little schoolgirl just to myself while making the coffee earlier on, because I was thinking about how like it's no joke that like it's not just a thing for the stream. I actually do spend time gathering my chi before the fucking stream, like quite literally, like like straight into Mabu, like well, not straight into Mabu. Like, spend about 10 minutes trying to get like warm up me hips and me glutes, trying to get that like really far back stretch, like, real deep horse stance, like. But for the first 10 minutes, I'm basically just standing there with slightly bent knees, just like warming myself up for like the feeling of me hamstrings and me glutes, just like like. I've heard people call it like flossing your nerves and stuff. Like, that's what it fucking feels like sometimes. You're stretching like, oh, and then something goes like pop. Like, especially in between the shoulder blades. I can feel where I had like. It's fascinating when you start like developing a good mind body connection where you can like you can feel a part of your body like at whim. I'm like kind of getting there, and like. I could feel the center of my back where the roughly, not like, really accurately around, but I could feel it. I could feel the part of my back that's like bulging or whatever, where I have that like disc that's just a little bit off. Like, it's not major. It's not like something I'd have to get surgery for or fucking like intense physio or anything. Like, not not yet anyway. Like, if I got hit by a car, or I was like if I was in a car crash, or if I fell off a horse, or if like maybe if I played rugby or something like that, like. If I did something like fairly high impact, I can imagine that I'd throw my fucking back out probably. Like, I'm fucking 33. The shame of it. It's intense, but I could feel it, and it's weird how it feels. Like, I don't feel pain so much as vulnerability. I can feel how sensitive it is. I can feel how like fragile that area is. It's like the slightest movement in the wrong direction and it's like sharp pain. You get that fuck deep in between the shoulder, like it's right in the center of me back. can only imagine what like a lot of old people experience with like there's this one dude who walks through the village all the time. He's got a walking stick, and it's like like it is kind of funny looking, but like bless him, like he is, at least he's a get up and go kind of guy, because he's literally walking up and down the village like all the time. He sits down at various spots, knows fucking everybody, but he walks with his feet like, you know, this, like in a what would you call it, in an oblique angle, like a fucking, like a clown, like, or a penguin, like, you know, he literally walks like a penguin, like. And he's also severely hunched over. Big guy though. He's like 6'2" or something, like probably around 6'3" or 4" if he wasn't so, like, you know, old and hunched over and shit. Like big dude. And but like he's always just like 1 2 1 2 1 2. He looks like one of them plastic army pieces, like trying to march, you know, with his feet stuck together, like the Toy Story. Like it's fucking, it's gas. Like when you see old people who like have clearly severe physical impediments, or like impeachments. Impeachments, isn't that a legal thing? Impediments, problems, physical issues, ailments, quandaries, physical disputes with their own body. That's what it kind of is sometimes, though. It's like your mind is telling you, or is it your ego? Maybe, I don't know. There's a part of you that's like, oh, I can't stretch that far, or oh, I can't like stretch my leg out, or I can't kick that high, or, you know, I can't do the splits or whatever. And like, and obviously if you just try to force it, you're gonna hurt yourself, like, you know. But there's a point, there's like a threshold where it's like, no, you can't, your body can do that, but like your nerve endings can be habitual. Do you know what I mean? You can have a map of your personal nerve endings, and like it would probably only certain groups of them would be firing like all the time. There'd be parts of your body that like almost never get any attention. And that's one of the things I really like about that qigong stuff, is like that's what it taught me, was like the kind of, it's basically it's like a form of tai chi, like, or like a subsection, or the OG tai chi or something. Like I can imagine a lot of people would like fight over like what was around first, was it tai chi or like qigong or whatever, like, because like the both, or if one is fucking Chinese and one is Japanese or some shit, I don't know, like. But the whole moving really slowly and just breathing steadily for long periods of time, like a good 40 minutes or something, like, and like it's intense. It's totally different to like doing, you know, anything on a pull-up bar, or like calisthenics, or doing gym stuff like lifting weights and stuff, or doing cardio like going upstairs or up an incline with a backpack or something. Like it's different to all that shit, because all that shit is like push, 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 you know, like high octane fucking pace, like, you know, or like effort. Whereas this stuff is like the total opposite. It's like, no effort. Try put the least amount of effort in as possible, but still maintain what you're doing, and then slowly move to another one. And it's fucking mad what happens to your body sometimes, especially when you go from one stance to another slowly, or like I've been like this before with my hands forward for like 15 minutes, and like, you know, stuff goes dead and you start shaking. And like, if you've ever tried to like hold a squat against a wall, a deep squat against at least 90-degree angle against the wall, and just stay there, your legs start shaking after a bit, like, you know. And it's the same principle. Like I've been like looking like I'm trying to do some kind of kata in fucking martial arts, like, do you know what I mean? And I'm like just frozen in that spot for like what, like horse stance with your hand forward or whatever, for about 15 minutes, and you're like sweating and stuff's moving around and all, like. And then I'd look at my phone and I'd see the timer, and I'm like, okay, like big breath, and then change, and you go from here to just like the same thing, but your hands are above your head, but you want to keep, like, imagine like you're hugging a tree or a ball or something. You want to maintain the same structure and form. And the way your shoulders move sometimes, like in terms of like, because I've obviously got a lot of tension there, my posture's all wrong and stuff, like, and it's just like like it's, you could just hear all this stuff, like some of it is like audible to the point where like the female will be like, oh my god, like, you know, what the fuck are you doing to yourself, like. But then a lot of it is internal, where I can feel stuff like tearing and like popping, and like moving around and shit, like as I'm just trying to gently move stuff into a position that like biomechanically you should easily be able to do, like not a bother to you, like. But because I have all these like tense spots, the stuff you'd go to a physiotherapist or a chiropractor for. But this is why that's why I love doing this shit, because it's like a self healing thing. You're like, what do they call it? Cultivating strength and what's the thing? What's the cultivating vitality or some shit like that? Like, and it's funny because like sometimes that's all I ever like bother to do is like an hour of that, and I'm like sweating and everything feels like tense and full, and like sometimes I feel like my fingers are real thin and I'm dehydrated and all, I'm underweight and shit. Like I do that shit for an hour, and like there's blood pumping into every, like right into the fingertips, right into the toes. I can feel every muscle group, and I feel strong, and my posture is like, you know, good and erect, and you know, I'm forward facing. I could feel my pecs, like, you know. And then slowly but surely it's just like back to like slouching and poor posture and shit. Still do like far too much sitting. It's ridiculous, like. But basically the point I'm getting to is that like I can really feel the impact of being lazy the last few weeks. Nothing has helped me as much as daily yoga stretches before work. Keeps me much leaner and pain free. Yeah, man, it's no joke. Like, it really is no joke. Like, I know a lot of people will be like, "Oh, faggot." Man, telling you now, like the martial arts stuff, because that's what yoga is essentially to me. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's difference between like people who think they're fit because they're athletic and they do gym stuff and shit like that, and then there's like people who do martial arts. It's a totally different kind of fitness, and quite often it's a totally different level of fitness. Like them Shaolin monks that, like, you know, can do the fucking bow staff monkey shit, like ridiculously flexible, ridiculously disciplined in terms of control and how slow and precise they can be in like really weird positions. You know, like dragon catches fly, and it's like stretching out and shit, like, and they can do it shit quick, and they can do it real slow, and they're like they're like deceptively powerful and shit. Like, you just see like a little Shaolin dude, he looks like nothing, but when they take their tops off, they're like jacked. You know, like, and then you see the older ones, and they look like Buddha and all, because they don't do the shit as much, and they're just like fill out because they're still eating the same amount of rice. Like fucking 10 balls of rice a day, just like, like, fuck, you gotta love the Asians, man. They're fucking brilliant. Oh fuck. Right, what are we feeling today? Kind of want some metal to wake me up a bit. I know the lads would probably feel the same. Don't know about Margie. Margie, what kind of music do you like, Margie? You never complain about the tunes. You're like, that's what I think is hilarious. You're an old lady here, and like, I'd be playing like all sorts of tunes, like, and she's just like, "Ah, it's great." Fucking, I love that shit. It's so good, like. Oh. Jesus, I've loads of metal at the back end of this playlist. One hip hop thing, bit of classical. I can imagine Stabber is going to be like classical, crashical, bit of crashical. Epic orchestral music for powerful motivation. That sounds wondrous. Margie just loves music. I get it. I'm the same. I listen to like you could probably tell from listening to the stream. Like, I'll listen to like, you know, poppy stuff if it's cool or whatever. Like I love that tune, "Streets" by Doja Cat. It's got that vibe to it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, some songs just like catch me. Like there's a band called Whitechapel. And they've like a few tunes that I'm like, oh, they're like absolute bangers. Like "The Saw's the Law." I fucking love that one. "This Is Exile" has a fucking awesome bit in it. It's just like, dun, 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 dun. It's like real sinister and shit. Like, and he's just like, "Rise over birds are roaring, like in time with the fucking breakdown and all. It's just fucking, it just gets you like, dun, 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 dun. It's fucking brilliant. Like, such a banger. Like, but like a lot of their tunes are like meh. I find that fascinating. Like, where you can have a band who can create like a 4-minute thing where I'm like, oh yeah, I fucking love this. Like, and then I listen to a whole album and I'm like, like one of their albums was fucking class though. Can't remember the name though. I think it was like one of their first ones. Listened to the whole 44 minutes of it and I was just drawn away. Like, that's how I know that I really enjoy a whole album. If I stick an album on and I can just start drawing, and the next thing I know the album's over and it's been like an hour and I'm just like, shit, yeah, that was class. Like, that's how I can flow. Like, you know, like it's a feeling, not a thing that you can like I don't know, maybe you can map it out if you did some seriously accurate and reliable journaling or some shit like that. But album 44, 3 minutes in, not good, turned it off. Album 45, 22 minutes in, really got different, didn't like it, turned it off. It's like all of these sketches that get to a certain point and they just stop. Oh fuck. I guess I'm deciding then. Nobody said anything. Fuck you all. Why Chapel's in the playlist? I did not know I put that there. I put Our Endless War. I've noticed that actually. Like, I suppose I'm not surprised, but I think it's hilarious. Where like I intentionally put up like in the search bar like the last couple of 50-minute long things, like the playlist, the metal stuff, some of the fucking synthy shit and all. Like, I typed into YouTube, it was like, playlists that won't trigger the copyright thing or whatever, like, copyright free music and all this shit, like, And of course, I'm like looking at all the fucking PEINTEINGU videos, and it's all like copyright. I'm like, fuck's sake, like. Which, like, I don't know whether to care or not. Do you know what I mean? Like, because I don't care. But I'm like, should I care? should I care that it's like got a copyright thing on it? Like, I don't know. I mean, like, I don't give a fuck. Like, all I care about really, like, and maybe that's the problem. I was about to say, like, all I care about really is like when you guys are here, that you enjoy it. I don't know how many people watch me after I'm live, and like maybe it'll like change their experience. Based on like, cause like, the way sometimes the stream has gone dead and shit, like, cause I'm playing a certain song or something. Like, if I have to see this fly on the wall guy ask about fuel in wings one more time, well, fucking your man fly on the wall in Owen's chat, he keeps asking about the fuel in the wings. Hasn't Owen given out to him before about something fly on the wall? Some people, man. Some people just don't know how to be, like, It's like, just chill. Just, like, just have conversations in the chat with people. Just chill out, like. Don't be all, like... Some people treat it as if they're in a room full of people and Owen is, like, speaking at the front. Which, in a way, like, I can see why they think that, but, like, they shout shit out. They're like hecklers, What about this? And, like... Owen's just looking at the chat and sees a comment like that and is like, can't help but be like, shut the fuck. Like, I'd be like that. I'd be like, the fuck did you just say? Like your one was a Mayhem, was it Macy? Mayhem Macy? And Orunk. And I was just like, shut your mouth, and kicked him. Like, you have to, it makes total sense to be like that, like, do you know what I mean? Because the whole point of like these, like, a podcast is to cultivate like a vibe and a community and shit, like, because that's what people love and stuff. Like, totally get it. Like, there's no point in like, because I used to see stream chats like that. Asmongold is a great example. I don't think he always used to do that. Like, essentially, like, weed his chat. I could be wrong. Maybe he did. But when I first like seen him way back in the day, his chat would be, it was a lot. Most streamers were like, the chat would be flying along, and a lot of the chat was just people spamming nigger. a lot of the chat was like links to shit, bots, all this fucking shit. Like, and that's just like crap if like there's a lot of people in chat actually trying to talk to each other because they enjoy the content all the time. Like, you know, makes total sense to just be like, get the fuck out. Like, if you have people like there's spamming the chat, and then there's like chatting too much, which is like, I wouldn't class that as spamming the chat, but that's like being obnoxious maybe, or something. Like, you know, it's like the format of speaking online and getting your ideas across is different, and people don't think that. People treat it as if it's just like you're in front of people, and it's not. You're not in front of people. It's very nuanced. It's a different form of communication. Some things are missing, some things are different. Like, so you have to like take that into account. So you should always just keep your comment, especially on a live thing, has to not only like be in flow, so like the person doing the podcast or whatever says something and you're like, oh yeah, like I remember that movie or whatever, and like if you're gonna say it now and keep it concise and drop it into the flow, because what, like, you know, that's what's kind of funny about me just like going on a rant and then looking at the chat, because it's like 40 minutes of people talking to each other and I'm just catching up on it, which is there's an element of fun to that, because it also creates like a whole new fucking you know, spiel or whatever. But it's different when like a commenter just like drops in a thought that's like completely out of time and everything, like especially if the person doing the stream is like reading the comments or something, because it's like, what are you talking about? Like, because that happens to me. Like, sometimes I'm catching up on chat and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, but it's funny depending on the context. Like, but it's so obvious to me anyway, I'd say you guys too, like a lot of people, that like online communication, like there's a lot of stuff lost in the communication, like nuance, body language, tone, all these things like that really alter what people say, you know. Owen was always talking about this the other day, where like was a fucking something about bunny bear and all, like, and he's like, do you understand me? And he's like being sincere, he's being genuine, he's being like, do you understand where I'm coming from, you know? And like I get that, like, you know, you get me? Yeah, you feel me, nigga? Like, I totally get that. Like, it's fucking hilarious. I've never like, not that I've never experienced that problem, but like I don't really get that problem via text, because like I've always been one of those people that's quite expressive in text, because I grew up with it, like, you know, emojis and shorthand and like and all this shit. Like, the amount of things that I've texted to people that were like pages long, like, do you know what I mean? Like, so fucking funny. Like, I think I mentioned this before, where like me and three lads spent like a few months. It was like, you know, the way you go through these like phases of like, you know, something entertaining, the lot of yous, and he's like, do it every day, and then it just gets old. One of the things that we used to do was we used to text each other like at night, like, you know, which just made it funnier, because we'd hang out and all, and then we'd all go home, and like nobody knew that me and two of the lads would text each other in bed talking about, like, we were pretending to be kings and that we were like sending threatening letters to each other. It's seriously one of the funniest fucking things I've ever experienced, because we try to speak like ye old English, you know, and I'd be like, your villages will be burned, your land will be salted, the people will not even know of the land of Nottingham and shit, like, you know. That's fucking so funny. We'd be like, I was crying laughing sometimes. Like, I'd be in the middle of a like long diatribe or whatever you want to call it, like just this epic rant of like, you know, like, I will lay siege to your fucking kingdom, and like, like, you know, there ain't fucking anything you can be do about it, bitch. But like in ye old English, like, it was so fucking funny. And I'd be in the middle of one, and then I'd get one, you know, like, like save that to drafts and start reading it, and I'd just be fucking pissing myself laughing, like, you know, some of the shit we said to each other. Like, my mate Damo was the best at it. His vocabulary was extensive and like beautiful to just be blunt about it. Like, the dude was like poetic sometimes. Like, A lot of the shit I was said was funny. Do you know what I mean? But some of the shit he said was like genuinely like stirring and intimidating. Like when you read it, like you're like, this is some good shit. Like, which just made it even funnier. Like the idea that it was like a 15-year-old, three 50-year-old fucking like gamer, you know, lads, not nerds. Like we still were like athletic, but we were gamers. Like, you know, fucking big into Halo and Gears of War and all. Like, just lying in bed threatening each other as if they're kings. Oh, it's fucking brilliant. So funny. You ought to check out some songs by Orbit Culture, some real bangers such as While We Serve, Carvings, and Mast of the World. Isn't that in the Box Saga where they believe that there was like the word balance, the world balance comes from the fact that the world is a ball on top of a lance, like not on top of a lance, with a lance running through the middle of it. Is essentially how they see the world, is like a sphere with a spike running through the center, and the spike was like there was a tilt, there was a shift, and where all the ice is changed, and like that's what the ancient, like, you know, that would explain a flood, wouldn't it? A massive shift in the ice. Not just the ice, like temperature, climate, a huge climate shift. Fucking, like they used to speak about, oh, there was this ice age and then there was this, when they're talking about like all the dinosaur shite. But like I'd say, like that makes a lot of sense that like there's like times where like, because I've seen that in my own life, let alone over a span of 100 or 1,000 or 100,000 or a million years or whatever. I've seen that in the space of 20 years, where it's like, oh, winter wasn't really like, we didn't really get snow this year, and then like that might happen like 2 or 3 years in a row, and then one year it's like, oh shit, that's a lot of snow, and it's really fucking cold. Holy shit, like, and then like you can have like Ireland's weird in particular because it's so mild like most of the time. And then out of nowhere we can get like, you know, oh shit, it's like fucking 25 degrees outside, which is like fairly fucking hot, like, you know, because it's so mid all the time that it doesn't even need to hit 30 or 40. It can just go to like 21 and everyone's like, whoo, holy shit. And then because it's so mid all the time, it doesn't even need to go to like below 10 or 20 or 30 or 40. Like some places in Siberia, it could just go to fucking -4, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, it's mad. Like, it's a mad place to live. It's like, I think it's the weather's definitely got something to do with like why the people are the way they are. Cause it's like sometimes it's like this, sometimes it's like that, sometimes it's like this. It's like the whole island is like living with a woman. That makes a lot of sense actually. Why are the Irish so fucking intense? Because like they have women and the island is just like a woman. It's as temperamental as the women. That's why all the men are like fucking grizzled and like, you know, all right, yeah, fucking, yeah, right, right. That's hilarious. Oh. He is just there for attention, Gamma Special Boy. Fucking, your man Fly on the Wall. Yeah, I mean, like, it's kind of self-evident when you have a name like that, isn't it? Like, it's kind of funny, like, but, like, to call yourself Fly on the Wall, it's like, so, you're kind of expressing that, like, you don't want to be involved, you're just here to, like, witness and observe. But then he contradicts that by engaging the way that he does, you know. And like, sure, it's just a fucking username. It's like, well, you say that, but like, especially if you make up your own name, it can say something about you, you know. Your behavior, what you choose, colors you pick, everything says something about you. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, this is what I think is hilarious about my name. Like, that I didn't even really pick it. Like, you know, it was that fucking bus wrecker cunt before everything went south. Like,
I was just like that was so wild for me. Where like fucking Owen's going through this like a similar thing with Jim Bob. It's like I had that dude at my house. Like I felt exactly the same. Felt exactly the same because I had Buzzwrecker at my gaff, and it was great. We all got on, blah blah, and then just like a little while later, and you start to see some other shit and some behavior in the chat and all, and you're just like, this cunt. Like I fucking fed you, you motherfucker. Like, and it is. It's like honor. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like the type of behavior that you just, oh, it's mental. Like when you come across someone who's, I think that's why I think I really watch a lot of like police footage interrogations and like body cam shit and all, like, because I have like a bit of an obsession with watching people lie, and it's hilarious to me. Like, do you know what I mean? Like most of the time. Sometimes you're like, oh, this guy is like fucking, when you believe it for a minute, and then something gets revealed, and you're like, oh shit, he was lying about that, and like, cause you didn't pick up on it. But like most of the time, you're like, this nigga thinks he's like getting away with this shit, like, cause like you're witnessing, like it's not like what the cop knows in that position. Like so if you can tell he's bullshitting, then like for sure the police can tell that he's bullshitting. Like the one I was watching last night was like one of them anyway. It was fucking hilarious. Like this dude was like sketchy looking as fuck. Like he wasn't very good at lying at all. Like and then eventually he just gave up and got to the point where he was like, "Can I get a cigarette?" you could just see it and hear it in his voice, and he was like, "Ah, fuck." Oh, there's no point in lying anymore. Like, so I burst out laughing. Like, look, come on, dude. This is your chance to tell the truth, and like we have the video, we have the blood, we got the DNA, like we got the body, we got it all, man. Just like, come on, like, and he's just sitting there cuffed, and he's, y'all got a cigarette. It's just like, my God, these people, like, but yeah, you see that all the time. You see that all the time. Is they'll be like, "Can I get a cigarette before I like, before I just like vomit up my soul and like admit to like kidnapping, murder or something." I find it like it's incredibly entertaining, but it's so fucked up. Like, do you know what I mean? That people, it's so true that most people don't. Because I was kind of like that. You do not ever think or conceive of real life people being that fucked up, like that. Not necessarily evil. You would originally, I'd be like, they're bad people, evil people. Like now, I'm like, they're weak, broken, traumatized. Because I understand, like I comprehend, and it's just fucking hilarious to me watching these fools try and like lie their way through shit, like, and I'm like, oh my God, like some of them are like, it's clear they're just really stupid. They're just trying to say some shit, and you're like I kind of feel bad for the people who clearly just do not possess the intellect to understand what's going on. Sometimes I'm like, oh, he's just retarded, which explains a lot of what went on in society. Is that like you do like I think normal people, like not fucked up people, have that reaction to the lesser. You have compassion for them. You want to help them. And that's one of the things that's so fucked up about society. I was only talking about this yesterday with Demon Hunter Bear and his missus. But like, that's why shit is so evil these days. Is because they use your good side against you. It's incredibly malevolent, incredibly deceptive, and incredibly like apathetic and evil. Like that's evil. To use somebody's predisposition of goodwill against them is fucked up. Like that's a really sophisticated form of treachery and like confidence trickster. Do you know what I mean? Like that's a really sophisticated lie to lure you in with the like, don't you want to help the baby? Look at the starving baby. Look at the thirsty people. Look at the fucking like, you know, it's, and then, you know, society at large is like with the whole COVID thing, like, you know, oh, you don't want to get your grandmother killed, do you? You're not a horrible person, are you? Trust us, trust us, trust us. Like, do you know what I mean? And it's like, it's very like, it makes sense why the snake, it has that alluring, like, because snakes are beautiful. They're not just terrifying, and they have that hypnotic, slithering. That's what it feels like. It feels like a paper dragon. It feels like a look at the shiny, look at the shiny. Don't pay attention to the legs and the hands underneath the costume that you can kind of see that you get a glimpse of now and again. Don't look at the root. Don't look at the root. Look up. Be dazzled. Be in awe. Be amazed. You know, follow the, oh look, it's like a moth to a flame. You know, the fucking the flute, the snake, you know, and they use music, they use the media, like, that's why it's so powerful, like shit like Disney, where like there's an image, there's an arousing image in a spiritual sense, in a motivation sense, you know, like a hero conquering a mountain, like, you know, getting up the hill or whatever, like, and all, or saving the girl from the monster, and all, like slaying the dragon. There's music and everything's fantastic. And the whole time you're distracted by all that, your like essence is being like sapped out of you, because you're making decisions based on what you're gullibly believing in. And that's how you like work your way into a system where it's like, you know, like healthcare isn't healthcare, like the prison system isn't reform or rehabilitation. It's just a way to make debt slaves, and like it's for taxes and shit, like, and like it's just slave labor. They make a lot of stuff. Like, well, I remember the first time I seen that they made like panties and license plates in prison. I was like, what? That's wild. Like, why are they making products in prison? Like, it is just cold, calculated. It is logical, but it's demonic logic. It's not affluent, productive. Well, I suppose it is productive, but it's like, it's not generative growth, inspiring, and what's the word, to accommodate something. Like, to be good is to accommodate like harmony and growth and balance and expansion, but not like in a conquering sense. Like, do you know what I mean? You want to just grow like a flower, you know. Sometimes you have to die, and then you come back the next season even stronger. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like death and rebirth and growth and all. Like, a lot of the shit like is metaphysical while you're alive, and then you actually die. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's hilariously ironic. You need, like, I've done that. Like, like parts of me have like died, and I've planted the seeds for other parts of me to grow, and like notice the change in myself. And like, I've had a lot of these moments where I have self-reflective thoughts where I start laughing to myself because I realize how retarded I've been in the past. If you can't look at your life up until now and pick shit out and go, oh my god, I was such a fucking idiot, like, what the fuck, what was I thinking? I've said that to myself so many times. What the fuck was I thinking? If you don't do that, I think there's something wrong with you. Now, don't be wrong, there's possible that there's people out there who just make all the right decisions, like, for a lot of their life, if they're brought up well, like, they just, like, hit the lucky card or some shit, I don't know, like, but I'd say everybody has like, moments where, like, oh my god, that was so embarrassing, like, what the fuck, I'm so retarded. I've got lots of them. I've got, like, horrifically shameful moments where I looked at myself and I was like, I am no better than a fucking trash panda. Like, I just like part of me relates to people like Asmongold, like, do you know what I mean? Where like if you've ever, I hope you haven't because it sucks, but if you've ever gotten to a place where you're like totally nihilistic and suicidal and shit, and you just don't give a fuck about anything, I like gallows humor. Like when Owen said that the other day, he was like, "Oh, I'm getting into gallows humor." I was like, "Oh, I forgot that's what that was called. I forgot that term, gallows humor. I think I really like gallows humor because I think it's one of the things that got me through a really like dark part of my life. Like, do you know what I mean? Where like I think it's brilliantly. There's a fucking great utility to it. To be able to face like horrific shit, like even if it's not like somebody trying to like stab you to death, you know, which is insanely like visceral and point of view, like, oh my god, this guy might kill me right now. Like there's other shit that's just like all you have to do is witness it and it like shatters your whole world, you know. Somebody just needs to say something to you that you didn't know 5 seconds ago, and you're like, you just like it's like your mind palace is like completely silent, and somebody in the kitchen just drops a glass. You know, all you hear is like that scene in Kill Bill where like your man's like, and then she turns around and like speaks in Japanese, and she's like, I'm here, I have vermin to kill or whatever, like, and everything goes silent, and you just hear your man in the back drop a fucking like ceramic bowl or something. Like, it's just it's the exact vibe I've experienced sometimes, where so like something has happened or somebody has said something to me, and you can see it in my face. Like my friends have been there before, where like I think my friend Luke fucking said it one time, where like somebody said something to me and my face just changed, and he said pissing himself laughing, and I looked at him as if we were like, the fuck you laughing at, like, you know? Like your perspective of your entire existence can be altered in a moment, and like when Owen slays a sacred cow or something, like, you know, or like points something out to somebody with like fairly like irrefutable evidence or proof, you know, or whatever, and that's why people spiral. They're like, no, you're lying, that's not true, you know, like, and denial and all this shit, like, you know, it's like grief. You're dealing with death, and it's like it's not physical death. It's the death of a paradigm, death of an idea, death of an ideology, death of a belief, death of the ego. All this fucking shit. Like, and it can be so funny though. like, like witnessing someone like have their whole fucking world like melted can be hilarious if they like can handle it. Like, and then it can be like, you know, you can feel like a dickhead if like I definitely told this story before, where like I'm pretty sure I did that to a guy a few years younger than me. We were all having a house party, and we were all sitting in a room like smoking a load of weed, drinking and shit, like, and this guy came in, and he was like probably like, you know, 17ish. The rest of us were like, you know, hitting our 20s, still maybe 19 or something, like. And he like tried to come in and like act cool, essentially, like, you know, like I can imagine a lot of people have experienced this. If like you had those teenage years where like you grew up with a load of people, you knew loads of people, you always went to gaff parties, drank a lot and blah blah, like this is like a very stereotypical moment to happen, where like a young man tries to like hang around in a realm that he's not ready for yet, but like he like, you know, tried to do it in like a fucking, you know, uppity, arrogant kind of like, oh look at me, I'm cool and like I'm young and shit, like kind of way, like, you know, like, and you know when you can cop that, where everybody in the room kind of looks at him and is like, this fool, you know, like he'd say something like, you know, he'd brag or boast about something, or he would, you know, like, you know those guys that are like, hey fellow bears. Yeah, you know them niggas where you're like, ew. Like you, like the second they communicate, you're like, oh, this guy doesn't belong here, you know. Just completely different wavelength to what the room currently is, you know. The whole thing of like, read the room. He read the room completely wrong and said all the wrong shit, like, and I was such a dick to him. But it was one of the funniest things I've ever said, like, in a moment, cause that, like, oh my god, that, like, the whole room lit up with laughter, like, but that, like, I can only imagine what it was like being him in that moment, like, fucking devastating to the ego, like, his ego got, like, ripped apart in a like slow, painful way in like about like 12-second period. Like it was horrible. And like he was saying some shit like, you know, there was like a moment of silence, and I think I was rolling a joint or something, like, so I had the grinder, and I like was like tapping it or whatever like that, like, and without even looking up, I just turned, like, I was like, "You're gonna die alone, mate." And like everybody like collapsed, like folded, and was just like, you know, the kind of laughing where like nobody, like everybody in the room was laughing in the same fashion. That laughing where like you're crying, you're bright red, and you're like wheezing because you don't want to just burst out laughing because like, oh my god, I can't believe he said that. That poor cunt. That poor dude. Like, you know, but like that's how they were like, like I folded everyone. Like I literally killed the room with that one comment. Like, and he got up and left. Like, do you know what I mean? And then the whole room exploded. Like, so you would have heard that. Like, you know, makes it even worse. Like, and it's like the opposite of when the superhero walks away from an explosion. You know, like, yeah, cool, edge walk, and it's like, you know, like, it was like the total opposite of that, where like he's like walking away from a room, and he's like, and then all you can hear is like, everyone laughing at shit. Like, it's fucking like devastating. I mean, like, me and a mate of mine found him later, hours later, like you know, early morning hours, like 2-3 in the morning, out the back garden on a bench, just like curled up in the fetal position. And that's when I saw that, when I witnessed that, I looked at me mate and I was like, did I kill him? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, is it over? Like, is he just kind of like spiral and commit suicide now or something? Like, cause I was like in and around that kind of mindset for years. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't give a fuck about like loads of shit. Like, you know. So I would just say stuff like, oh, it was fucking brutal, like, but it was hilarious. Do you know what I mean? It's like working out. It's like, you know, it's so alchemical, so like physically fundamental, where like you do an intense, you exercise like with intensity, and like someone like me who's like, you know, pale skin and stuff like that, I'd be like pouring sweat, beetroot red, like, you know, you can, like, I'm fucking roaring red now as the blood is flowing into my muscles and stuff, and I basically have transparent skin, you know, and your breathing is heavy, like, you know, like, and everything feels like it's humming. Like, there's the time where you're like, oh my god, this kind of sucks, like, a little bit, especially if you're tired. But then the payoff is later, and it's that whole thing of like, the dopamine doesn't hit for a while, you know? It's like an edible. It's like, eat this now, and about 40 minutes from now, you're going to feel amazing. You know, like, it's, you know, like, it's that kind of vibe. Like, and it's funny because, like, I love that vibe. Like, it's like, I suppose E didn't take that long to kick in most of the time, but like, I love that vibe of like, take this now and later awesomeness. You know, like, I really enjoy that vibe, and like, it's ironic that like that's the right way to be, in a sense, mentally, is like, do this now and shit will be awesome like a bit from now, because like we live in a society and a culture where a lot of it is like now, I want it now, I want the dopamine now, give it to me now, like, and you shouldn't be like that. Like, so it's just fucking hilarious to me. And it's like how it is with edibles and shit. Like, you just do this now, later, great time. Like, that's how you should be in life. Pretend it's an edible. Pretend life is an edible. Put the work in now. Your twilight years would be fucking trippy as fuck. Oh. I swat flies on walls. I love fucking swatting flies. This whole bullshit of like, oh, I wouldn't even harm an insect. Like, sometimes I feel bad for spiders. Cause like there's something about respect for predators. Is it just me? You kind of like you have more of a respect for like something that's just out to like. It's like I gotta eat, nigga. Like nigga gotta eat, nigga. Like I'm sorry. Like it's like all right, I get it. Just don't be eating my shit. I would be so tyrannical and defensive. Like if I had a chicken coop and I saw shit like go anywhere near it, man. Like I would thoroughly enjoy killing that shit. That's where my switch, like, and it's funny that I'm called Defender Bear and all. It is really funny how shit turns out. I've never been the type. No, that's not true. Maybe that's why I'm like this. The the first fight, I've said this before, it's like the first and only fight I've ever been in that you could even call a fight because it was like outside with like just a stranger or whatever. Um, I swung first, and it was against like a taller, older guy. Like, do you know what I mean? And like the whole thing of like ego and arrogance and all this, and like it being like utterly shattered in seconds. Um, it's like I developed this whole, and that's like why I got into the martial arts and all this shit. I was like, wow, like I'm totally out of my fucking depth and all. Like, and you actually go and learn about all this shit because now you're like, okay, now I want to fucking find out so that never happens again. Like, you know, actually learn from the experience. And the thing that I learned is like that switch should only be there for like the right reasons, you know. Because I swung for like that's what it like was. It was like I swung for all the wrong reasons. I swung for like the entertainment of other people to prove something that I didn't have to prove. All this shit, like, you know, and it's that I carried that for like the rest of my life. It was an excellent life lesson. Excellent life lesson. It's hilarious, like, because you know, like people don't know. No, you don't know. Like people have told me as well, like oh, you don't know like your fucking streams, stuff like that. Like you never know how you're impacting other people. You know, you really don't know how you're impacting other people, positively or negatively. But that had a profoundly positive effect on me, on my whole life. Was how that went. Swinging at a bigger, older guy for all the wrong reasons and getting my ass handed to me, and I didn't even get hurt. He was so much more capable and stronger and faster than me that he just took me down. It was like, you done? Like, so he was also like merciful and wise. Like, like how lucky was I to swing at him and not somebody else who was like, you motherfucker, and then like batter the shit out of me, teeth missing, bust lip. Like, no, I just like the only thing that got destroyed, but it was utterly destroyed, was my ego. That was it, like. And it's like, it's mad watching a lot of people these days. Because, like, that's what, like, you know, with COVID and all, it's like, you know, wear the mask. You know what, one actor that, like, really, I thought was really funny and I really liked, and then he did, what, is it Brian something? He's in Anchorman. Is he Ant-Man? I think he's Ant-Man. I've never seen those movies. When they got him to do the whole it's science, just take the fucking vaccine, shut up and put on the mask. I was like, it did kind of, I don't want to use the word shocked because it wasn't like, oh my god, like I was angry. I remember seeing that, I was like, oh my god, whatever about being a sellout, but like that's another level of like, Jesus Christ, like I can't stand people like that, like whether it's to do with science, religion, or anything. Like, do you know what I mean? You can pick anything. Fucking being a mechanic, I don't fucking like to be that. Like, it's just like, don't be stupid. Like, fucking, it's a wild amount of arrogance, a dangerous amount. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I think when I look at society these days. In a lot of ways, is I see such a stupidly dangerous amount of arrogance. and ignorance. I have more compassion for the ignorant though, because like you're always ignorant to something. You can't see everything, like. But then you have a lot of people who just aren't paying attention at all. Like, it's mad. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens over the next 4 years, because of like, if shit keeps, like, if Trump is anything to go by, the swing back towards the other side, you know, like, no more woke, no more this, no more that, like, you know, fucking we're gonna dial it back, you know, you're not going anywhere near the kids and all this tranny bollocks, like, fuck all this shit, it's ridiculous, it's demonic, like, by pretty much most people's standards, like, do you know what I mean? Like, that gives me hope. The way the last couple of years has gone, actually, like, now that we're through it, like, actually gives me a lot of hope, because, like, to see so many people be like, no, fuck that shit, no, that's great, you know. Most of us are at least here when it comes to like some kind of ambiguous moral standard across like all nations, religions. Most people who are like aware and alive right now, and who are like set like in any way normal or rational, and when it involves that stuff, are like, oh, hold, no, that's fucking weird, that's too far. And that's good. That's great. So we're not like, we're nowhere near as bad at all as like a lot of people would want you to think or believe. All this World War III, this, that, and they're like, sure, like a lot of like people are killing each other right now, but like that's always going on. You got free will, you know. We have free will. A lot of people are always going to be fucking killing each other over some bullshit. Let them. You know, you're not going to fucking stop them. If you try to fucking stop them, you'll end up getting killed in the process, or you'll have to kill them. You know, it's crazy. War is crazy. Modern war, anyway. Modern warfare isn't war. It's not like spiritual war, honorable war. It's not. It's just meat grinder. It's crazy. 90% of people emote to our universal detriment. I love emotes though. I think like emotes are great because they can be, if used correct. It's like anything. It's like emotes are a gun. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like you can use emotes, and something can be really funny. Like Maxed Out Bear emotes. Fucking, I love the way he uses emotes. He uses them like actually like symbols and shit. Like, do you know what I mean? Like pen, hat, fucking whatever. Like it's panda. Like it is like. It's basically the gun thing. It's like you could be an annoying amoeba with emotes, or you can like pull off a really funny joke consistently, like with just like a smiley face or something. Like if it's the right kind of face and it's timed right and it's in the right context and all this shit. Like I love symbols. Symbols are great. Like I find that shit fascinating. Like where like it's kind of like. What's that Shakespeare thing where it's like a rose by any other name would still smell just as sweet. Like when you do an A, it's like A, but like that shape doesn't have to be A. You know? Like you can do another shape and you could just go A. It's the same with numbers. You could just go 1, but then you like, it's like the line with a bit of extra shit on it. It's like that's 1 2. That's 1 and 2. That is 1 2. And like that's why English is crazy. Like the same word for 2 numerically, and it's like I did that also, or I did that too. TOO sounds the same as 2 numerically. Like, you know what I mean? Like I did that too. You say to someone who's trying to learn English, and be like, you did that too? What? So you did it twice? What? Like, you know, it's like. This is what I love. Like it's funny being like somebody who used to be suicidal for a while and got through it, the other side of it. The smallest basic shit in existence in life becomes utterly fascinating. You start picking everything apart. Shapes, geometry, numbers, letters, everything. You're like, okay, so like it's funny because you're like, all right, if I'm gonna stay here, I need a reason. I need a reason to stay. Give me a reason to stay, you know. And then like just pick like what was my reason? I suppose like the female, some other stuff. Like I didn't want to hurt other people. Like that's why I self harmed when I was like working through it and trying to like explain it to myself. And then like also like psychiatrists or counselors or whatever I went to see at the time, like, you know, because like when people see my scars, they're like, Jesus Christ, you got attacked by a bear. Like, it's like, no, I did that. I didn't want to hurt someone else, but I wanted to hurt something. Like, fuck that. I wanted to kill everything. I had that like kind of like a small part of me still does. Like, do you know what I mean? It comes out when I'm talking about like that's where that part of me is still there, where I'm like, you know, kidnap the women and children and glass this place because it's a fucking hellhole. Like, that's that part of me where I'm like aggressively defensive of what I perceive to be something that, you know, like vulnerable or weak, or like, you know, it doesn't have to be a damsel in distress. It doesn't have to be kids. It could just be like a scenario where one or many people is being trespassed upon by some kind of like force or people or whatever, and I'm witnessing it, and I'm like, fuck you, no. Like, you know what I mean? Like, especially if it's weak and it can't fight back. Do you know what I mean? Like someone trying to drown a puppy or something, I would be like, oh man, I'd fucking flip out. Like don't get me wrong, I get like why, I get the reasoning behind certain things. It's like, well, if we can't feed it, I can't take care of it, and if we just leave it out here in the wild, it's gonna die anyway, and it'll probably be eaten or some shit. So like, the merciful thing, like logically, is to like give it a fucking warrior's death. Like, just kill it like shit quick, like as little pain as possible. Like, I get it, like, you know, but typically my reaction to things is like, don't you fucking dare. Like it's funny how like Owen has made famous that thing where it's like, how dare you, you know, the whole Greta Thunberg, like, how dare you, how dare you. And I told a story before where I said that to a friend of mine. I was like, how dare you. Like, you know what I mean? And there's different, like, it's like anything, there's different situations where the tone of it is completely different. Just like Owen was talking about, like, you know, do you understand where I'm coming from? Versus like, do you understand where I'm coming from? You know, like tonality like changes everything. It's like the difference between like, oh yeah, dude, yeah, totally, and oh fuck, like, is this guy gonna try and kill me? Like, it's brilliant. Like, that's what I love about music. You know, like with fucking acting and like entertainment and all. Like, you know, the difference between like a tenor and a fucking dude that sounds like a total fucking faggot. Like, you know, like learn, like, it's just vibe, you know, it's just vibration, frequency, tone, wavelength, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's all connected and it's all moving at the same time, like, and there's people like me and you guys who are aware of this shit and how it all works and like how to like go with it and be like, you know, this is how life works, man. Like, just like vibe and like, you know, fucking don't be a dick and like be good to people and build shit and like, it's blah blah blah. And then you have the other side of it where like, it's when you notice each other. You know what I mean? It's when the yin or the yang, I don't know which one is which. Oh, you could fucking call yourself a weeb. No, I don't. That's why I don't. Because I don't even know which one is yin and which one is yang. Like, I think yang is the black one and yin is the white one. But like, when good becomes self-aware and then evil becomes self-aware and they meet each other is like a profound moment. Because it is choice. Because it's based on choice. It's like you choose to be a certain way, and like say you're at a house party or a family gathering or something, like, you know, and you've chosen to be this way. I choose to be honourable, I choose to be a warrior of light and not the dark. I choose to be a creator, not a destroyer. Even though you do, like, technically you have to be a destroyer now and again. Like, you must destroy the wood so you can destroy the wood with an axe so that you could destroy it with the flame, but it keeps your family warm. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like still destruction, but like, it's a productive, moral form of destruction. It's not like anywhere the same as like just fucking busting into a village and murdering all the women and children and making it look like it was, somebody else so you can instigate a war. Some demonic shit. Like, weaponized humanity is one of the most sinister tactics foisted upon us. Yeah, like, and it's funny, I read that right after what I just said, because, like, the whole jackal situation where it's like, right, we're gonna go in and we're gonna butcher their families, women, children, the whole shebang. We're gonna fucking, like, act like a bunch of demons, and we're gonna blame it on these guys. And it's fucking like, who would even come up with an idea like that? I mean, like, fuck me, like, that's how, like, when war gets to that stage where, like, somebody is, like, contemplating the statistical cost of, like, do you know what I mean? Like they call it collateral damage. Like, that bit where fucking, what was it? What's that fucker's name? Old guy. Funny. Oh, I'm blanking on his name right now. You know the one I'm talking about. Fuck it. Like one of the funniest dudes ever, but he did go real dark and kind of chilled out. Like, I remember his fucking name. Old guy. I can't remember. It's kind of like the whole, they used to call it shell shock, and then it changes throughout time and it gets to post-traumatic stress syndrome, and it's like, just loses all of its weight. That's this, they do, like, I don't know what it used to be, which is crazy in a way. But collateral damage, like innocent fatalities. How people can live with themselves, like, like, if you, like, if you do something, like, if you act in a military, like, you perform a military action and innocent people die, and that happens all the time, and people are like, it's part of the job, shit happens. It's like, what? How despicable of a military. Like, military is supposed to be regal and, like, the strongest, most capable men in your nation with these fine uniforms and the weapons and all this shit, like, do you know what I mean? And they put on a show, like, do you know the Marines with the rifles, and they do all that cool fucking shit, like, that takes some serious fucking focus and practice and shit, like, and all this stuff, and, like, they face death, like, and then you're so apathetic and undisciplined that you can't even perform your military duty without collateral damage. That's fucking wild to me. Like, that's because, like, there was no collateral damage when the armies met up on a field and fought each other. It was like, right, are all the lads that are willing and, like, have chosen to die here today for some fucking stupid reason? Are we all here? Yes. There's the red lads and there's the blue lads. Like, and these are all the lads that are in the fight. All the potential collateral damage was fucking miles away, generally. You know what I mean? Now it's just like, where's the bad guy? In that limo. All right, detonate. And it's like, but sir, he's in the middle of a market. There's women and children running around the place. If we don't kill this man now, more people will die in the future. Yeah, fuck off. That's a crazy fucking excuse to just, like, blow up a load of innocent people, like, and one supposed bad guy, We kill this nigga, like, we'll fucking disrupt their, like, all you do is create a power vacuum. I don't care who it is and who you kill. All you do is create a power vacuum. So stupid. That's why killing is supposed to be a last resort. Like, killing is supposed, like, as far as I'm concerned, if you're gonna kill another human being, killing is supposed to be like mano a mano, up front, close, like fucking like fists or blades, 1-on-1. You know, cause that's that's the rawest, most like fucking. You can't lie. You know. I know you could cheat. I know, like, one of them, it was like, we'll agree to fists, and then one of them hides a blade and shanks him. And it's like, you know, like, a lot of political bullshit. Like, it's, I know, like, even with dueling, like, there's a reason we don't duel anymore, like, because there's a lot of bullshit. People who show up and agree to duel with swords and then just whip out a fucking flintlock and just pow. Just like, you treacherous devil, what have you done? Well, fuck you. like 10 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, they agreed to fucking duel, and your man's like hungover, he doesn't feel like fighting. He's just like, Jeffrey, give me my flintlock. My God, what have you done? Fuck him, fuck you. Fucking estate is mine. Fuck you all. And if you have anything to say about it, Jeffrey, give me my other flintlock. Oh, flintlock, sir. Sounded like purple fucking pillow, like a velvet pillow with gold trim and all. Like, Jeffrey, where's my flintlock? Hand me my pistol. I'll deal with this shit. Like, I love dudes like that. Like, do you know what I mean? They're just like the total like train wreck of a nobleman, like piss drunk all the time. Fucking wig doesn't sit right on his head and all. Like, still like having a duel at like 10 in the morning with some guy on a hill in Scotland somewhere, like freezing cold. There's like a fog, like a mist. Am I describing a scene from Highlander? I think I am. I think I'm actually describing a scene from Highlander. I'm like remembering it as I'm talking about this shit. Oh fuck. Oh, Margie left a while ago. Bye, Margie. Not in Canada. 95% of people are mentally gone. That's why America's gonna take it over. Like, how funny is that? Where Trump is just like, yeah, I gotta buy Greenland and annex Canada, and like everyone's like, I mean, like he could. I mean, like, oh, like the stuff happening is wild. Like. Absolutely wild. Poor me, he's trying to hurt me, crap. Can't stand that weak-minded garbage. Yeah, like, fucking, like, I was never like, oh, they're trying to, you know, and I doubt, like, a lot of people were, like, but I definitely had for a while the whole, like, fuck the government. Like, fuck, like, the powers that be. Not even, like, the government, just, like, elites. Do you know what I mean? These, like, opulent fucking families with a stupid amount of money and the church, like everything, all of it. Like, you know, that's why I got so nihilistic. I was like, it's everyone. All this talk of charity, and you guys are like fucking trillions of dollars in debt as a nation and all. Like, it's all bullshit. And anyone fucking who even takes 5 minutes to have a look at this shit, it's, to me, it was very like, the way you could boil it down was like, it's Santa Claus all over again. You get to a certain age and it's like, yeah, Santa's not real. It's your parents who do the presents and all. And like all of those movies, all of that shit, in an instant, just like, you're like, it's not real. There's no elves. What the fuck? There's no magic. There's no fat guy in it. Like, none of it's real. It's all a lie. And they're like, yeah, it's like a myth, you know, like, and you're like, that is so fucked up. Well, I was anyway. It was like traumatizing. It's like, are you serious? So we're all like, it was such a fucked up concept to me. The agreed upon societal lie is such a crazy concept to me. Like, and like there's so many of them, and they're like we're surrounded by them. Like, people like go their whole lives without even knowing that they're in one. Like, that's just so fucking mind-blowingly crazy to me. Like, when I peeked behind that curtain of like, hold on a minute. People just believe this shit? Like, watching YouTube videos on the Bible, really, like, Oh, it's fucking crazy, like. And you realize, like, the power of belief. It's so powerful. It's such a monumentally powerful weapon to get someone as a child, especially a whole society, whole nation, young, and convince them of something. And then you have that thing of, like, you know, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was, like, convincing people that he didn't exist and all this shit. It's just deception in general. The father of lies. The concept of lies. The concept of a bunch of people behaving in various ways because they're running on false data. And you're just like, holy shit, that's crazy. So fucking crazy. Dick Fordu, welcome to Rantingu. I heard they booed our Republic's glorious anthem recently. You sapsuckers feeling froggy. Oh, that's hilarious. How dare you boo the anthem? Like, not me, I swear. I disavow such rebellious commie behavior. Good on you, Sabaru. You're one of the good ones. Oh, fucking hell, that's so funny. You will place your hand upon your heart and you will sing, fucker. This is our national, like, what's it? Your guys is like, oh, now I'm fucking having a brain fart on the American national anthem. What was it? Fucking, I can't remember. Star Spangled Banner. Fucking, what is it again? Can't remember. Blanking on it right now. All I can think is the Irish one. Fucking Sheena Feena Fall. A toffee Gallagherin. No, I can't remember all of it. We used to sing it like every day in the fucking Gaeltacht. It's like, right, Kaylee's over, now we sing the song. You're like, huh? Like, everybody be fucking sweating. You're like, yeah, it's fucking good Kaylee. Like, fuck, knackered. Like, line dancing and man, like, dancing as a group, like, to, like, doing traditional group dances with the, like, traditional music is fucking great for community. Great for community. Because, like, it keeps everybody fit. It gets everybody, like, you know, up and active and fucking, like, great for the mental health, great for physical health, great for, like, you know, spiritual and social health and all, like, fucking great. Like, you'd have every different, like, it doesn't matter if you were a nerd or, like, an ugly like, you know, it didn't matter what tier you were in, even amongst teenagers. And that's hard to do, because they, like, naturally fucking break off into cliques, like, you know. And, but a Kaylee, like, you guys have the same thing, American, like, you know, cowboy, like, line dancing and shit, like, do you know what I mean? It's just like, yo, fucking, it's the same shit. Like, you just have national, like culturally homogenous music, culturally homogenous dancing, and it's like, and it's group think, but in a productive way, where it's like, right, now all the girls do this, now all the guys do this, now, like, you split off onto 2s and 3s or whatever, right, now everybody get in line, like, do you know, and obviously it takes a while to learn the fucking thing, like, do you know what I mean? But it's great, because when everybody starts doing it in sync to the music, that's where you get that China level shit of, like, it's really impressive. Especially when you're in it and you're doing it and you're a part of it, and, like, you get all the, and then when you think about, like, spiritual geometry and, like, the like your one talking about that Owen shared, where it's like the shape of the building is actually doing something to your brain chemistry, like, that makes so much sense, because, like, when you look at, like, just even one of my symmetrical images, like, you look at it and, like, something happens in your brain because it's symmetrical. I don't know what's going on, but, like, I know, like, you know, I can't articulate it, and I'm ignorant of, like, the ins and outs of it, but I totally get it. I can feel it. Do you know what I mean? And, like, I can feel it the same way that you can feel that, like, you're entertaining a room, or you're, like, you know, things are getting hot and heavy with a female. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you can feel, like, when you know, that kind of thing. Like, you know, if you're getting your ass handed to you in a fight, like, do you know what I mean? Did you just like humiliate yourself in front of a lot of people? Like those undeniable moments where there's like a congruence in your mental state and in your body's sensory faculties, where you're like, oh shit, this is the truth right now. You know, it's fucking. It's so good. Like I think that's like one of the fundamental things that's missing from society now is like we don't have that like mass dopamine hit. And like I was saying, like you could be anyone, like to me, because it's like just do the dance. Everybody's doing the dance, so just do the dance. That kind of like willing, that voluntary submission to conform, because like all you're doing is conforming to fun. You're not conforming to like follow these rules, kill these people, do these things, don't eat these foods, fucking like blah blah blah. You're not conforming to an ideology or whatever. You're conforming to 15 minutes of having a laugh, you know? And like it does profound things to you, like. And you can see it in people. You know, people who don't even like each other. If you end up like dancing with them, you'll have that like thought, like, and you can even make eye contact with them sometimes, and you're like, all right, yeah, fucking you. But like you're in the middle of the dance, and you don't want to fuck it up for everybody. You don't want to be the one person, the one cog that's not working. And then like if you were to look at the room, it's like, what's going on over there? Like, you know, it's real noticeable because like there's all these patterns going, and then there's like one or two people like talking. It's like there's a part of your brain that's like, I'm not going to like, you know, indulge on a personal level of being like, oh, don't like you, I don't want to dance with you. You just put up with it because it's brief and it's a good sacrifice because like everybody's having a good time, you know. And like I know, like as I'm saying this, like you'd have the dark version of that where like you could use that, like somebody could use everything I said to fucking argue for like why orgies are good. Like, you know what I mean? Everybody's willing, everybody's having a great time. Like, you know what I mean? You're doing a bit of self-sacrifice for the group, like. You're like, eh. No, it's not. It's not the same vibe, nigga. Like, I was just like. I suppose like I'm very aware of like the dark side of things, and then when you're very aware of both, when you're very aware of the dark side of things and the light side of things, it's kind of hard to choose the dark side. But that's why it makes sense. It's like you need to be really damaged and a victim to pick the dark side. That's how the dark side operates. Is like they make you dark. That, you know, they fuck you up, like, and they crack you. They crack your crystal. You know, like if your soul is like a crystalline core that's like deep inside you somewhere, like, and they fracture it. So it's not whole, and it's not uniform, and it's not symmetrical. There's bits of it that are off and shit. Like I probably have a few fucking hairline cracks in my crystal, like, do you know what I mean? Like I'd say a few of us have, but like it's still whole, it's still intact, you know? But like that's what the world does to you. Like the world, like intrinsically, like it just being in the world and trying not to be of it, you come across all this stimulus that like really fucks you up, and then all this stimulus that like makes you feel amazing. You know, like when you're a kid and like your dad's like throwing a ball with you, or like throwing you up in the air or some shit like that. There's moments like that like always just stick in your head, where you're like, oh my god, that was like so much fun. When I was like, I weighed a few kilos and my dad could throw me like up in the air and catch me and throw me around and shit, like. And then there's the other shit where I remember my dad like fucking getting real mad at me and telling me to stand beside a wall and fucking throwing a shuriken above my head, like, you know, like wild shit, like, you know. It's like the Conan stuff, like, you know, how do you make a sword? You know, like, you need fire and ice. You need the fire to like make him malleable and like soft and movable, and you get the chi flowing, you know, and then you solidify it. You like drop the temperature instantaneously. Just you get that like that hiss going. I think that's why I disagree with the fundamental, like, and I'm still ignorant to a lot of like life shit and stuff, obviously, but like Christianity, Islam, like these religions, they seem so, to me they seem perverted, which would make sense, you know. But it seems like a lot of them, definitely a few of them, were once great rules of law, codes of honor. And then they've just been perverted over the years and used, like the thing that I started all of this with like, they use your good side against you. Which, to say, like, you know, when you look at it, you have to be like, well, that's a really smart move, you know. You gotta appreciate the intellect to do that. You gotta appreciate the tactical, you know, efficacy of that, of being like, because that's all the stuff you learn in the martial arts stuff. Now, use your opponent's strength against him. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, especially with judo and stuff. Like, it's like, if he wants to go that way, let him. If he wants to go that way, let him go that way. Like, help him go that way. Like, and it works and it makes sense, and it's like such a wise way to be. Like, you know, but that's when evil gets good at like really being evil and starts doing some fucked up shit now. Like, we live in a time where deception is just so fucking all encompassing. Like, I seen an AI video there yesterday that was like very convincing, and I've seen that a lot lately. I've seen a lot of AI stuff lately that is like very convincing, like real uncanny valley shit. Like, and I'm an artist. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I look at something and I'm like, that looks off, that looks fake. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm starting to see some shit where I'm like, shit, I can't tell why that's not real. Like, fuck. Like, I have to look at it for a while, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that looks a bit weird, you know. But like, some of it is so high definition, and like, because it's not even like graphics, it's not necessarily fake, it's manipulated images, like, of like real stuff and all, like, so, and video. It's really impressive. I'll give it that. Like, you know, a lot of the AI stuff that's coming out lately is like really fucking impressive, to the point where I look at some of the shit and I'm like, yeah, it's like I was talking to it with the female. It's like guns. It's like, you know, there wasn't guns and then there was guns, and it completely fucking changed everything. Like, you know, and there's people who are like, I hate guns, I don't want to use guns. Guns are like, you know, like Obi-Wan. It's so uncivilized. And in a way, I agree. Like, do you know what I mean? But it's like, they're here and they're a thing, so what are you gonna do? Like, a good guy with a gun and a bad guy with a gun will do totally different shit. Like, you know, like Owen has said, it's like fucking, you could feed your family with it, you could defend your home with it, or you could commit murder with it. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like that scene of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Like, fucking, oh, I could just massacre a whole room of people with this thing and all, and it's like, well, brother, that'd be on you, wouldn't it? Like, you know, it's so true. Like, people are going to use fucking AI for good and for evil. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens. What was I saying last night? Yeah, that it's going to be really interesting to see, because I can see this happening not too long from now. Like, I can see it happen in the next 5 to 10 years, where it's like in the news internationally as somebody gets convicted of a crime, and the main evidence of them committing the crime is a video of them committing the crime. And then maybe 5, 10, 15, I don't think it'd be that long. It would probably be a few months, maybe like 6 months, 18 months after that person gets convicted and put away, because everybody sees the video and it's like, all right, it's clear as day, they obviously did it. And then it turns out that it was fake and it was AI. And people are going to be like, oh shit. The whole, like, there's going to be like security around AI and all this shit. Like, I can see that happening, like, in our lifetime, because it is getting that good. Like, and it's not like there will be a whole load of people, hopefully, like myself, because like that's one of the reasons I keep watching stuff like that every so often. I'm like, I want to be able to tell by looking at it. I'm like, okay, that's fake. But there'll be a lot of people that won't be able to tell. Because there's already people who look at stuff and they're like, oh, I can't believe that. Or it's like, and then a lot of people in the comments are like, dude, that's fake, it's AI. And they're like, no, they're not, that's fucking real. And then it's just like a big fight about it. Like, do you know what I mean? It's already happening. So that could totally end up being like, in court, where it's like, we have video evidence of the defendant like committing this crime. And it's not real. It's totally fake. But it looks real to most people, which is all that will matter. Is that it looks real to the majority. And that's a scary thought, where you could have something that most people will look at and go, oh no, yeah, like, that's obviously him. It's like, oh shit. Booing in general is gay. Like, I'm too weak to do anything or say anything positive or upbuilding, so I will just say boo. I don't know. I mean, like, it's like anything. There's been times where I'd be like, boo! Get this fucker off the stage. I get where you're coming from, though. Like, you don't want it. Like, it's complaining. Like, what are you complaining for? Complaining is weak. Like, do you know what I mean? Especially as a male, But like, I've done it. I've totally done it. Like, there's definitely times where like if you're watching something, right? If you're like at an event, and the first two events come on, you're like, yeah, this is alright, and you're like enjoying it to a degree. And then the third event comes on, and it's like a fucking woke tranny bullshit, like, with kids and all, like, and you're like, oh Jesus Christ, like, there'd be a part of you that's like, boo, get rid of this demon shit, fuck this, boo. Like, do you know what I mean? And I wouldn't even care, like if there was kids there and stuff, because it's like, they don't care about the fucking kids. They're fucking being like demonic weirdos around fucking kids, like traumatizing the shit out of them, brainwashing them and shit, like with some horrible stuff, like. So you just ruin it for everybody. Which is like, I think that's the moral thing to do in a situation like that, is like, just start being like, this is fucked up. The only not gay thing about saying boo is by ending it with bees. Like, what are you, a gay ghost? Boo! Bees! It's like, what the fuck is he talking about? Why is he booing the bees? What has this guy got against bees? It's just a dude pointing at a beehive. Boo! Boo! Bees! Oh, fuck. Oh, God. Line dancing teaches the good side of conformity. Suppose it could be used to normalize too. Yeah, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, there are things that are a good form of like, don't rock the boat. Like, just go along with everyone doing, like, do the dance. Just do the dance. Do the dance. Say the words. Get involved, and it's a good thing, Now, the bad thing is like when you see the TikToks with the nurses during COVID. Say the words, do the dance, 6 feet apart. We're in this together. Fucking wear the mask, blah blah. Do the dance, fucking twerk. That's the bad side of it, where and they do that like like a fucking. Owen brought it up, was the fucking Travis Scott. Like, you have these, like, I've seen some footage of some live events of these like hyper famous people with like millions of followers, and like their stadium events to be huge and shit, like. And you're like, oh man, there's something like really culty, like weird off about that stuff. Cause like, you don't see the same shit where like, I remember seeing like, I can't remember what event it was. But it was like, there was an event that I remember seeing years ago on a YouTube video where it was like Slipknot and Korn and like, all the new metal crowd, like back in like their mid 90s or early 2000s or something, like. And, there's just this sea, literally like an ocean of people, just this sea of people all you can see is people for like to the horizon, and the camera is like maybe 50, 100 feet off the ground. These huge like towers, and they'd have a camera on the thing, and it's like panning and shit, and you can fucking see this massive tens of thousands of people at this huge metal concert. And like some of the footage was like Slipknot playing, like, do you know what I mean? And it's like the whole fucking crowd would be like, yeah, like at the right moments and shit. Like people think metal, it's like, oh, it's so dark, it's so dirty, it's so sweaty, it's so violent, like, so ugh. But like in a lot of ways, like you see some of the most spiritually uplifting shit in an ironic fashion at like these huge metal concerts where like people could easily be dying left, right, and center by getting crushed by, because there's so many people, you know, like, and it, like, people do get fucked up, like, you know, especially with mosh pits and circles of death and fucking walls of death and all this shit, like, people do mad shit at those concerts, like, you know, but like people just walk away from like what I've heard generally, it's like, yeah, I got a bust lip, broken nose, maybe like a broken collarbone. Like people get like minor injuries, but they come out of it being like, it's fucking awesome though, because it's like this climactic like mass, like the scope of it, like, do you know what I mean? It'd be like kind of like being in a war, but where nobody dies, you know. Music and the lights and the effects and the vastness of what's going on. There's so many fucking people, the noise of all the people, you can feel the energy and all, like, and it's predominantly a good vibe, you know. You're all into the same music, you're all you have the same, like, you know, vague code of honor where it's like, if you see someone go down, pick them up, you know. Like, that's the thing where, like, you know, even in crowds that aren't even that fucking big, like, do you know what I mean? But like, I've seen people who are just like so human in those moments that you don't see in the other crowds, like, do you know what I mean? Like, you see some crowds and they will move away and look at and ignore someone who's like throwing up or has fallen over, or someone who looks like they're in distress or some shit like that. Typically at a metal gig, three people within a few seconds would be like trying to pick them up, be like, you okay? Yeah, do you want a drink? You know, like, it's just, and that's what's used against us. Like, they know that, like, they know it's like, all right, this is how you manipulate a crowd, this is how you manipulate individuals and then groups and then crowds, and then they're just really good at it. They are wizards, like, they're really fucking good at that shit, like. And we live at a time where, like, there's lots of them and they're very powerful, and like they can get loads of people to do shit and get involved in things. So it is intimidating and it's scary and it's dangerous sometimes, where it's like, it makes you not want to be in big crowds because they can be manipulated so easily. And you can go from being in a crowd to being outnumbered 1,000, 10,000 to 1 in a second, like, do you know what I mean? And you're left standing there being like, shit, that, like, I have to keep me and the females safe against all these fucking insane sheep that have just been like, meh, like, so we're doing this now, meh, like, and you're like, oh Christ. Like, it's probably why I love zombie games so much, because it's like, how do you deal with overwhelming numbers, you know? Superior tactics, preparedness, staying calm, being logical about things, don't get emotional, like, you know, like, fucking first rule, cardio. Like, and it is like, it's mad, like, so there'd be people that would look at me and be like, you have such a like survivalist mentality when it comes to certain things. Do you not think that's like, do you not think you realistically suffer from some kind of paranoia? Fuck no, I'm just being realistic. I'm not paranoid at all. Like, if anything, sometimes I can be too ballsy, you know, when I'm standing in a crowd or when I'm in a situation like the female's just enjoying herself, she's like having a laugh and all, like, I am fucking constantly like like looking out for like people pulling shit out of their pockets, fucking, like, maybe I should do security or something, like, I don't know, like, but I'm really good at that shit where I'm just like, I always notice the vibe change, you know, like, It's like everybody's doing this, and then all of a sudden there's like 4 people over there that are like not in the pattern, and I'm just immediately like, what are they doing? And just keep my attention over there. Like, somebody gets too close to the female, I'm like watching their hands and shit. Like, it's hilarious. Because I just know. Because I've been there. Like, it's mad. Like, it's mad how people react to experience and stimulus differently. Like, or like something would like traumatize someone and make them and make them more fragile and more vulnerable and afraid and scared. Whereas like over the years, things have made me like harder and more like apathetic and logical, cold, But also like my sense of humor is like a saving grace, because like I was only talking to my sister there the other day. But it's just like we have this hilarious relationship where we both remember like how much shit has happened since she was like 5 and I was like 14. Like she has like all of these different perspectives and stories, but then we also have like the stuff that we experience together, and we just remember all of these like milestones of where shit either got worse or got better for a while. And so like quite often when we haven't spoken for a while and then we fill each other in on like what's been happening in our lives or whatever, like we just start laughing at that, where it's like, this is so crazy, like fucking it's like we're famous or something, like, because it's like we quite often say to each other like, how did we get here? Like, did you ever think when we were younger like that we'd end up here like this? You know what I mean? It's like, fuck no. What the fuck is going on? Like, it's such a stark contrast with like the way our lives were headed, like, and like what our lives looked like totally middle class family, 2 kids, like a teenager and a toddler. Fucking, we had the dog, we had two family cars, like everything, like we had a side gate and all. Like we were middle class, like everything was like very mainstream and normal. We had like Sky TV, all the channels with nothing to watch. Like everything was very stereotypical. Like I had the stereotypical middle class growing up in the 90s, fucking nothing wrong, no like no real, like my biggest like early life trauma was like losing that fight in seconds. That was like my major like life lesson at that time. It was like 13, 14 or some shit, like. But then boom, parents get divorced or like start getting separated, because in Ireland you can't just get a divorce. You have to be legally separated for like years and then apply to get divorced, and then that takes a while. It's fucking mad. So we just have all this stuff where like what did I say to her? I was like, if I didn't have the sense of humor I had, I would be dead or in prison. I'm being so serious, like, because like if you let some stuff get to you, like, and you're just like fucking pissed off like all the time, or like upset all the time, or depressed all the time, and then it goes on for years, and your life just spirals downwards. Like you start doing heavier drugs more often. It's fucking like wild, man. How just you can literally in the space of a moment just decide to go, oh no, my life's not going that way, it's going this way, and that's it. There's no like defining moment. Like maybe there is, maybe there isn't, but like I think that's what it was for me. It was just like randomly one day I was just like, no, I'm going this way. All this shit in my life finally got to a point where I was just like, I could see it. I could see it going in a direction. I was just like, nah, I'm going that way. Fuck that shit. And that's all it is people don't see it. People don't look ahead. People don't go like, if I keep behaving in the way I'm behaving, where's this going? Where am I going to be in like 10 years or some shit like that? And then like you use your imagination and you're like, oh fuck. Like, And I feel bad. Like I feel bad for people who don't have the capacity to be like, I need to change. I need change, and I need to do shit differently. I need to wake the fuck up and smell the roses. I need to like start exercising. I need to do this, whatever it is, it is you need to start doing or stop doing, because there's that too. You could be doing everything right. You just need to stop doing heroin. Like, do you know what I mean? You could just, that could be you. You could be that one guy. It's like, I go to the gym. I fucking have a great wife, for kids. Like everything's going great. I just need to really kick this fucking heroin addiction. Like, everybody's got something, like, you know. And I still have a few things. That I'm like trying to, like, these demons that have been with me years. You know, the ones that like feel like they're your friends. You know, like, come on, buddy, what would you be without me? It's like, like, I have a few of them still sitting there, like, but I'm working on it, and I know I'm gonna get there eventually. I still just have like a lot of shit to work out in my head, which you can tell because sometimes I just do this. Sometimes I just like turn on the fucking stream and I'm like, right, this is what's going through my mind today. Like, where are we gonna go in my mind today? What's floating around my consciousness this Monday? That's what it is. I want to make a meme of that crowd booing and then out to Conor McGregor say, y'all do nothing. You'll do fucking nothing. There's something so endearing about that mentality. Like, you know, like I've had that. Like, I've had moments where I'm like, go on, like, fucking, like, do it. Like, that's I know what that feels like. That's like a fucking self-destruction thing, though. You can tell when you look at Conor. It's like Conor wants to like die like a warrior, because then he'll feel better or something. Like, there's like a guilt. There's I think there's a shame and a guilt. Is that why Valhalla is a thing? Is because all the fucking like mad degenerate shit that Vikings used to get up to all the time, like rape and orgies and blood eagling people and all that crap and doing mushrooms and stuff. Like, so it's like, okay, if we're gonna go to heaven, we need to like go out on our swords. Like, you know what I mean? Because if we don't, we're just assholes. If we don't go out fighting, then we're just degenerate scum. Like, that'd make sense to me. It's like a subconscious makeup for all, like, because like there has to be a part of it. It's like you can't shake the image of watching two other dudes plow your missus out of it, and now she's like cooking for your children. You know, like, it's like, I wonder if that was the right thing to do. Like, was it the right thing to do to burn down that entire village and, like, you know, rape that chick while I was burning her house down? Like, you know, I can, like, that makes sense to me, where it's like you make up a place where it's like, if we're going to have any chance of an afterlife, we need to, like, die in battle. Because, like, other people don't have that. Like, other religions are just like, no, yeah, you know, like, you just die, and we'll bury you in a very ornate way. And then, like, the fucking gods will weigh your heart or some shit like that, and then that dictates where you go. No, the Vikings are like, I've done some fucked up shit. I need to go out with my sword. Like, the only proper call response to boo is B. It's so funny. Oh, fucking hell. I'm looking at the thing, I was like, I've been here fucking 2 hours, haven't I? Yeah, I have. Fuck's sake. Oh, God. I don't have the energy to go for 3 hours and do some painting and play some tunes, I'm afraid. Today was an epic fucking rant. Can't believe I've just been sitting here talking for 2 hours. And you listened! I've just been in your ear while you're like driving a forklift around or some shit, and you're just listen to me shite on. I hope you at least got enjoyment out of it. I hope you thought about something. I hope something I said resonated. I hope listening to the sultry tones of my voice over the past 180 minutes has satisfied you. 120 minutes, you fucking retard. 180 minutes. Oh God, my back. Right. I am going to leave it there and I am going to fucking get some food. I'm starving. And I need to go to bed at a fucking reasonable hour tonight. It's ridiculous. You need to stop carrying on like a fucking lunatic. You need to be a disciplined demigod. Right. My beloved Japanites, I'm going to leave it there and I'll see y'all later. Thank you for indulging me. Stuffing. Right. Auf Wiedersehen, meine Lieben. And I'll see you tomorrow.